The modern world has become an air-conditioned cage, trapping us in a cycle of recycled air and skyrocketing electricity bills. But when the grid flickers or the temperature spikes, we find ourselves helpless, staring at a thermostat that can no longer save us. There is a group of people who never signed this contract with technology. The Amish have survived every record-breaking summer of the last 3 centuries without a single central air unit or a portable fan plugged into a wall. They treat a heat wave not as a crisis, but as a seasonal rhythm to be managed with ancient, proven mechanics. Today, we are looking at 7 specific, forgotten strategies that allow them to endure triple-digit temperatures while the rest of us sweat through our synthetic shirts. The first strategy is the thermal architecture of the morning lock. In the modern home, we keep our windows shut and the AC humming, effectively turning our houses into convection ovens. The Amish home is designed to breathe, but only when the conditions are perfect. Before the sun clears the horizon, the windows are thrown wide open. Every cross breeze is invited in to purge the stagnant heat of the previous night. The moment the temperature outside begins to climb past the temperature inside, the cycle ends. Every window is shut, every curtain is drawn, and the home is effectively sealed. They trap the cool, night-chilled air inside a fortress of solid wood and thick masonry. By keeping the sun's direct rays off their interior walls, they create a thermal buffer that can keep a house 10 to 15 degrees cooler than the outside air for the entire day. This leads us to the second, often overlooked method, the total management of the hearth. In a conventional home, we operate as if it is winter all year round. We cook inside, we run the dishwasher, and we use the oven, pumping heat directly into the living space. For the Amish, the summer kitchen is not just a room, it is a tactical necessity. Many traditional Amish homesteads feature a detached building specifically for the heavy work of cooking and canning. By moving the fire and the steam away from the main house, they eliminate the primary internal source of heat. Even those without a separate building often switch to cold prep meals during peak hours. If the stove must be used, it happens at 4 in the morning, long before the sun has a chance to heat the day. They have learned that if you cannot keep the heat out, you must at least stop manufacturing it inside. The third practice involves a radical shift in textile science. We have become obsessed with synthetic fabrics like polyester and nylon, which are essentially plastic-based membranes that trap sweat against the skin. If you look at an Amish man or woman in July, you are looking at natural fibers: linen, cotton, and wool. Linen in particular is the gold standard of cooling. It is highly absorbent, it dries rapidly, and it possesses a natural weave that allows air to pass through the fabric. It is not just about the weight of the cloth, it is about the geometry of the clothing. By favoring loose-fitting garments that allow for constant airflow, they create a natural chimney effect against their skin. When a breeze catches the fabric, it pulls the heat away from the body, providing a form of natural air conditioning that no synthetic moisture-wicking material can replicate. The fourth strategy is the art of the damp curtain cooling system. This is a physics hack that dates back to the ancient Persians, and it is still a staple in many Amish communities. When the air is dry, evaporation is the most powerful tool in your arsenal. The Amish hang thick, dampened linens or sheets over open windows during the evening. As the wind blows through these damp layers, the water evaporates, drawing heat out of the incoming air. This drops the ambient temperature of the room before the windows are sealed for the day. It is simple, it is silent, and it uses nothing but water and gravity. In a world where we pay hundreds of dollars for misting fans and evaporative coolers, the Amish have been using the wet sheet trick for hundreds of years with zero carbon footprint. The fifth secret is the timing of their physical labor. In modern society, we treat time as a constant, working from 9 to 5 regardless of the solar position. The Amish operate on solar time, adjusting their schedule to mirror the intensity of the sun. The most strenuous work, baling hay, mending fences, or heavy lifting, is front-loaded to the early morning hours, often starting well before dawn. By 10 or 11 in the morning, the heavy labor is complete. The midday period is treated as a period of enforced rest, a concept similar to the siesta found in Mediterranean cultures. By slowing their heart rates during the hours when the UV index is at its highest, they reduce the internal body heat that causes heat exhaustion. They do not fight the sun, they concede the middle of the day to it. The sixth strategy is perhaps the most forgotten in our age of convenience: the use of thermal mass and deep earth cooling. If you have ever been in an Amish cellar or basement, you know the sensation of hitting a wall of absolute, unchanging cool. The ground at a depth of 6 to 10 feet stays at a constant temperature, typically in the high 50s or low 60s, regardless of the surface weather. The Amish leverage this by using their cellars, not just for food storage, but as a retreat. In extreme heat, the cellar becomes the primary living space for household chores, reading, and rest. This is not a basement in the modern sense, filled with heating ducts and drywall. It is a cool, earth-insulated chamber that acts as a natural heat sink. By utilizing the temperature of the Earth itself, they are tapping into the planet's natural climate control, bypassing the need for electricity entirely. Finally, we come to the seventh, and perhaps most subtle practice: the ritual of hydration and herbal cooling. We live in an age of sugary sodas and iced coffees, beverages that often dehydrate us or spike our metabolism when we need it least. The Amish diet during the summer is heavily focused on cooling, hydrating foods. Cucumbers, melons, and leafy greens are staples, but the real secret lies in their traditional infusions. They lean heavily on teas made from peppermint, spearmint, and nettle herbs known for their mild, diaphoretic, and cooling properties. These are not consumed as frozen, sugary treats, but as room-temperature, refreshing tonics. By maintaining a steady intake of water and herbal infusions, rather than the diuretic shock of high caffeine or high sugar, they keep their internal fluids balanced. They have realized that the body does not need to be shocked with ice to be cooled. It needs consistent, steady hydration to regulate its own internal thermostat. When you look at these 7 practices, a pattern emerges. The Amish do not survive the heat because they have better equipment. They survive because they have a better relationship with their environment. We have spent the last century building houses that require machines to be habitable. We have built cities that trap heat and lifestyles that demand constant, high-energy activity. The Amish have built a lifestyle of adaptation. They change their diet, they change their schedule, they change their clothing, and they change their interaction with their own homes. We look at the rising temperatures of the future with fear because we have built ourselves into a corner. We are entirely dependent on a grid that is becoming increasingly unstable. But the lessons are hidden in plain sight. We don't have to abandon technology to learn from these methods. We can use heavy curtains, we can use natural fibers, we can move our heaviest chores to the early hours, and we can start to view our homes as systems that need to breathe rather than boxes that need to be sealed. The truth is that the Amish are not struggling through the heat, they are working with it. As the world gets hotter and our reliance on complex, fragile systems grows, we might find that the most advanced technology is the one we left behind long ago. It isn't about going back to the 18th century. It is about reclaiming the agency to keep ourselves cool, comfortable, and independent, even when the power goes out. How many of these habits could you integrate into your life before the next heat wave hits?